Hi, Kimberly.
Hi.
We are here with Bear Pond Learning, and we're continuing our vlog series, helping parents help their kids. And Kimberly, you're a very experienced, I would say, master teacher, being in your class.
Thank you.
So, and for many years you've taught in a lot of different grades and a lot of different schools. And we just would love to hear today, I know all the parents would love to hear what you have to tell them that will help their kids in school that they can do at home, even though they're not trained educators.
I think the biggest thing is to talk with your kids. As a teacher, I talk all day long with my kids in class, and I find when I get home, sometimes I'm tired, and so I'm barking orders. And I'm not really having a conversation. And I think that's the most important thing to do, is to be able to talk to them, and then they know how to talk to their teachers. You can talk about feelings. I mean, something as simple as dinner table highs and lows. What was the high of your day? What was the low of your day? Open up that conversation. Be able to talk about how you felt about it. Could you have done something different? What happened? What did you do? What happened because of it? And be able to give like those real life scenarios based on what happens in their day. We did that in class too. Like at the end of our day, we always talk about how was your day. And we don't necessarily do a high and a low, but if somebody does say that they had a bad day, they have to come up with a good for their day too. Just to understand that one thing that might happen for the day doesn't ruin everything. So searching for that good and helping to teach them that not everything is destructive and that there are good things too. And even if it's something as, I completed my work today. Okay, well, that was a good thing. If that was your good thing today, then that was a good thing. So I think that's the most important, just being able to talk to them.
And you were telling me earlier that at night, when you and your husband put your boys to bed, that you make sure that
we put them to bed.
That you put them to bed. There
We
you
do.
go.
I think that's important. I think they're 7 and 11, but even my older kids, when they were home at 16, it was never just go to your room, go to bed. And if it is because I'm busy washing dishes, go to bed, and I'll be right there. So we always end up telling them good night. I think it's really important that they know that we're there when they wake up and that we're there when they go to sleep. And then it gives them that last minute opportunity to talk about how they were feeling still. If they had something lingering they needed to say, or they're having a hard time falling asleep because of something, then they know that we're still going to be there and they're not going to bed feeling sad or bad or whatever. And so we always make sure to tuck them in and give them a hug and a kiss and make them feel safe when they go to sleep.
Wonderful. You were talking about parents being on phones at dinner and telling kids not to be on a phone. Does that work pretty well?
No, I think it's really important to model behavior. So we have a no technology rule at the dinner table. Whenever we're eating dinner, breakfast, lunch, there's no technology involved at all, and that allows us to have a conversation. And I think if you simply put the phone down, you're kind of forced to talk to each other. And dinner's not a long time. You're not eating for hours and hours on end. So everything can wait. Their game can wait, the text message can wait, the email can wait, because it's all gonna be there when you're done eating. And it just allows you time to talk, and I think it allows you time for your kids to feel like they come first, and that they're more important than the phone in your hand. And the same thing for them, with you, knowing that you come first and that you're a family and that in a unit. And so I think that's really important to not have technology while you're eating, even if that's the only time you do it. It still gives you just that small moment to have a conversation with your kids.
Now, you don't know this is coming, but I'm gonna
Shouldn't put me on the spot.
I'm going to put you on the spot because a few weeks ago, we were having sort of a thing, a little bit of a conflict in the classroom. There were a couple of kids who were in trouble and complaining and arguing. And one of the children sort of took offense because you had told him to go sit down or to stop talking or something. Very reasonable, in my opinion.
Right.
But he took offense and got all upset. And a few minutes later, you went over, and I mentioned that he was upset about that incident, and you went over and you apologized to this child. And let me just say that I don't think I've ever seen that happen in my years in education. And that child, I don't know that he ever had an adult teacher apologize to him and say, if this happens again, maybe you can. And you gave him some strategies to cope the next time, because inevitably it will happen again.
I think I remember that happening, and it was how I called him over. So there was a situation that happened, and when I called him to speak to him, he immediately thought he was in trouble. And so it was my tone that I wasn't careful with, and he wasn't in trouble. I just needed to know what had happened so that we can resolve the issue. But however I said it, it hurt him and it made him feel like he was in trouble. And I think it's really important to apologize for things like that. I didn't necessarily be like, well, I'm sorry I spoke to you that way. You don't always have to say you're sorry for what you did, but I think to validate the other person. I'm sorry if what I did made you feel. You know what I mean? And I think that was the biggest part of that conversation. Like, I'm sorry if the way I spoke to you made you feel uncomfortable or made you feel unsafe or made you feel like I wasn't willing to listen to you, and I'll do a better job at that. And I think that's really important because we don't always pay attention to how we say things and how it affects other people. And maybe what we said was valid and maybe what we said was right. Maybe we could have said it different. And even if what we said was right, doesn't mean we can't apologize for how we made somebody feel. And that's something I teach my kids at home. Like, you might not be sorry for what you said, but you can be sorry for how it affected somebody else, because that's really important, to be able to acknowledge feelings and have them know that their feelings are important and they mean something. And just because I'm a teacher and just because I'm in that position doesn't make me more than them. So.
Wonderful. So one last thing you have for parents. I know you've told me lots of great things. I wish I could go back and raise my kids again, but I can't.
Me either.
But for parents who are still raising kids, any last thought?
I just think to not always second guess yourself. I just had a conference with a parent yesterday who was like, well, I'm not sure if I'm doing things the right way. There's so many different ways. And I was like, well, but he's yours. So if what you're doing is working, then why would it be wrong, right? If it's actually working and it's working for you and it's working for him, then that's the way that works for you, right? If you're not being harmful and you're not being hurtful, and maybe your way is different than my way, but everybody's raising their own children. So I can't tell you how to raise your kid. A textbook can't tell you how to raise your kid. It's whatever's gonna work. But I think the biggest thing is to find the positive. You know, you have to find the way that the positive works. So this parent shared with me a journal they had written, and the child wasn't having a good day the day before, and so it was like, I don't want to be mean. And my suggestion was, if you have them write something like that, rephrase it. I want to be nice. So I think erring on the side of that positive with the kids and giving them the positive things to say, instead of saying, I don't like it when you behave like this, I like it when you behave like that. So if you reaffirm those positive things in the kids and the good things that you like and the happy things that you like, they're gonna strive to meet that more than just, I don't like this, I don't like this, I don't like this. And I mean, even as adults, we'll feel weighted down, and then what's the point of trying anymore? So.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Wonderful. Thank you, Kimberly.
You're welcome.
You've been wonderful, and I hope this helps all you parents who are watching and everyone else. I know it helps me. All right. Thanks for tuning into Bear Pond Learning. Bye-bye.
Bye.